So, I wanted to discuss something that had concerned me for the initial rumors, speculation of it being released, as well as my disgust of it. So, I think many of you already know about the Brony community, the fan base. I mean, I'm a part of it. I got a shirt. You've probably already seen recordings of me doing covers with the shirt on. Yeah, I'm a fan. I like the show. It's enjoyable to watch. It's like one of the few new cartoon shows I've actually been able to watch and enjoy and not think it's complete human waste recently. And kind of branching off that, there is a speculation of a movie, a kind of a spin-off, if you would say, not like an actual series. Thank God they didn't make a series, or have not even considered it yet, of a movie called Equestria Girls. And what the kind of whole premise of it was that the ponies would be human looking. Now, of course, there are like die-hard loyalists that say this is the end of the franchise and all that. I mean, with the whole Twilight becoming an alicorn, they said the exact same thing. I'm pretty sure the same people who said that, who are still brony, said that in the past as they did now. I mean, it's like they're looking for a reason to quit. But I started to notice that it wasn't like we were trying to defend that this movie might be good, because I mean, how likely would it be to try to make anthropomorphic ponies into anthropomorphic humans succeed? I mean, everyone should know that doesn't fucking work. I mean, with the Powerpuff Girls, when they made them teenagers, nobody could relate. It's practically the same thing, actually, despite that they got older. Nobody watched it after that. I wouldn't dare to watch that. I don't want to see them do Monday activities. I want them to see kick ass and be cute. So I was really cynical of it. I did not want to see it because I knew I just had something in my stomach that told me this was not going to be worth my time. And I watched it. Not in theaters, of course. I had this camera that people are kind of accusing all across the YouTube nation. And I didn't like it. I did not like it. It had pandered to every single high school cliche that they supposedly had claimed that they were not trying to do that. They're trying to make it seem realistic, and I guess supposedly high school cliche stereotypes are what we want to see as real. Worst of all, they made the excuse that they were trying to, Hasbro made the excuse that they were trying to reach to their audience, try to make it more relatable by making them human and in high school. But the problem is that their audience is actually pretty young, and they haven't really experienced high school yet, so they wouldn't know. They don't understand. And for the new target audience, the other one, the older brony community, of course is going to take this shit. Nobody takes this kind of shit. Nobody wants flat, vapid characters. No one wants to deal with the high school scene anymore. Especially if you're going to only see it in one dimension, with it being with the cliques and the bullies and the technology, with the, you know, oh, I ran into a boy, so now I automatically love him forever because of that. And those are really good reasons not to like the movie. I think those are really acceptable reasons. I understand that you shouldn't leave the fan base that is completely, it's disconnected from this spin-off. It's a spin-off, that's the whole thing. It's not supposed to be a part of the actual timeline, although it kind of is. I don't like it, but I feel like with the Brony community defending the movie, they make it seem like we should be afraid to hate it. that we should be just fine with getting this kind of shit released. I mean, that was a mistake. We should take that. We should take that and let them know that it was something bad. That obviously we can't look at this. We can't take this shit and eat it. And okay, we can't take this shit. We can't eat this shit and make us pretend it's caviar, because it's not. It's shit. One way or another, it's shit. Of course, it probably wasn't the best for me to have such low expectations from the beginning, but like paraphrase from Digibrony, it keeps my hopes at an even level, and that I will not be disappointed because I already am disappointed. But the problem is that I'm always going to just grind it down. Anyhow. So was it a problem for me to hate it? No. But what is a problem is that you hate it so much that you automatically think that everything else that they're going to release is shit. That's not what I'm thinking. I'm just thinking that this movie is shit. I'm not going to say it's good because I want to be within the in crowd. But somehow I still feel internally, I still have this internal conflict with having to accept how shitty this movie is and just move on with my life. Maybe that is the message, but the principle of the thing is the movie is still not any good. I don't care what people think. It surprised me in some areas of its work, okay? So I would like to discuss about it plot-wise and character-wise. But first, I would like to go with, pull forward with the controversies of it. First off, with the characters looking sexy. Now, high heels and a skirt being worn together does not satisfy my resolution to claim that these characters are out to be sexy. Because obviously they were targeting towards 8-year-olds, so they made them look cute. That was the whole thing. Perhaps I think what people are getting confused with is not that they're sexy, the problem that they're sexy, but the problem that kids are going to think that this is the right way to dress. Or that somehow this is the way to dress like this is like the way that sluts and hookers would. But of course, hookers and sluts have a whole bunch of different ways they like to dress. And sometimes women who aren't trying to look for sex, who dress like that, aren't looking for sex. Of course, they just like to feel overpowered, or that's just how they are. It's just their little niche. My problem with the dress is that maybe they're a little too gaudy. Like, maybe they're like too many flashing signs to let you know that, hey, this is the character, this is Twilight Sparkle. She's got her skirt. Oh, look, it's her little cutie mark. Oh, look, her high heel socks. They got the little diamonds on it. Oh, she's got purple skin and she has the same hair type. Yeah, you know, just in case you didn't know that was Twilight Sparkle, here's all the hints towards it. And they did the same thing with all the other 5 characters, and they kind of all look the same. They have those really high-heeled boots. I was thinking that they did that to make them look, resemble light ponies, because it makes them look like they have really broad feet, sort of deal. Anyhow, they all look the same because they all have the same skirt type. They're all skinny and flashy, but the whole idea of trying to make them look realistic doesn't work here. It doesn't. Especially with the principals, Celestia and Luna. Those are the ones that really fall down into that uncanny valley with the normal eye size and normal lip size. It just looks disturbing. It looks disturbing. I don't watch cartoon shows for the hopes that that a cartoon character looks as human as possible. Yes, they can have human characteristics, but if you try to make them as fucking human as possible, people are going to like that. It's going to look weird. It's going to look absurd. It's going to look god-awful. I mean, the humane six, as I like to call them, you know, play on words, are actually quite fine with the outfits. Perhaps they're making it a little too obvious who they are with the outfits, but in no way do I really want them in bed with me. Never did I think of that. And I never thought that just because you wear skirts and high heels suggests that you're out for sex, because that's not true. Even if you're wearing the two together, that doesn't suggest you're trying to look the score. And they're not even mini skirts for that matter. They go like right here. They go right here. You want to see a mini skirt is when you actually start to see some ass around the corner. Okay? Maybe even a fucking panty lining. But theirs goes right here. That is perfectly acceptable. That is the finest. It's a skirt. It's not a mini skirt. Okay? It's just, I feel like the parents are stereotypical of hookers because apparently they think that hookers only wear skirts and high heels, and that they're suggesting that these students are dressing the way they are for sex. Which is not true. Well, anyway, that's really all I have to say about that kind of controversy. But I think the real controversy here is the misdirection of the target audience. As I've already said before, they said it in a high school setting, despite that the main six have already led independent lives in Equestria. I mean, they still meet their parents, they still have lessons to learn, but they do live by themselves, or at least they have, except for Pinkie Pie and Applejack, everyone else lives in their own abode. Pinkie Pie lives in Sugar Cube Corner with the cakes. That's not her those are not her parents. I guess because she works there, she is living there too. And Applejack, because she works at the farm with her grandmother and her siblings, technically that is living independently. It's just that she's there to help out, because that's what she aspired for, was to just work on apples all day and night. And the fact that they have the Humane Six going back to high school as if they just got 10 years younger somehow is baffling to me. What is also baffling to me is Spike. Now, Spike being a dog, everyone loved to fucking complain about Spike being a dog. It's like, oh, he's a dog. Oh, it's ruined. I just want to go home. I didn't care, but the problem I have with the dog, with him being a dog, is that they allow him to talk. They allow him to be an important part of the story arc by being the somehow calm and collective type. Yeah, despite being a dragon, and that going into this new world, being a dog, and not knowing of this world, he's really calm, which seems to be a problem with whoever's acting or whoever had made who made the foundation for him, because he's not worried at all. He doesn't care if he's a dog. He doesn't mind at all. He doesn't mind where he's at. He doesn't mind how the normal functions of pony life work. And despite him technically being elementary school level aged, if you could say so, is like the wise leader. It's like the underdog or something like that. But if you're going to make him an important part of the show, why make him a dog? None of the other dogs in this alternate universe were able to talk. They couldn't talk at all. They bark, they woof, they like food. And it's like the only few things that Spike seems to inherit from being a dog is that instead of gemstones, he likes dog food. And what was also funny was that I could make a whole bunch of jokes about him having a crush on Rarity now that he's a dog. He's like, hey, if you ever feel frisky, you can lick your own balls. Now, although it's weird. It's just, why make him a dog if he's going to be an important part? They should have made him a human too. Not him. They either should have not had him just jump into the portal, because he's like, oh no, I'm not going to lose Twilight for another 2.5 years. Oh. While Luna was giving that whole speech about how the other elements of Harmony couldn't go in, but it was perfectly fine for Sunset, Simmer, Twilight Sparkle, and even Spike even to jump into the portal with no consequences whatsoever. They either should have not had him jump into the portal, or had him exist coaxially in the alternate universe, because they say there's another Twilight Sparkle, but we never get to see her, and it's never explained in depth at all. As just a normal dog who looks like Spike because of the hair color and the skin color, which is still fucking weird. Anyhow, with the characters with the skin color, I just noticed that Sunset Shimmers and Flash Sentry, if you really want to call him Flash Sentry, he's the very best. Doo 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 doo. He's shit. Both of them are bad in their own right, but in terms of skin color, okay, they're Caucasian. Alright. I didn't really even notice that. I didn't really care. I mean, all the other ponies were differently colored. Asian, well, not Asian, but like orange, pink, gray, green, yellow. And then there's Snips and Snails, which don't really work as henchmen because they're not wholly evil. Sure, they helped. They were trying to help out Trixie in Ghostbusters, and you can pretty much say that Sunset Shimmers is kind of a more is like a copy of Trixie in a way. But Snips and Snails were not evil. They just, why they brought the Ursa out was that they were trying to validate that Trixie is a powerful wizard, because she had boasted that she had defeated an Ursa Major, although this one being an Ursa Minor, and that they were trying to lure him out so that every pony would believe that Trixie was a wizard once she was a powerful wizard once she had done so. And that is not being evil. That's just trying to prove that somebody else is good. Where in this case they're just the two dumbasses of Sunset Shimmer's splinter group, if you could say. And that's why they are pretty flat as well, because you never really see them be on any other dimension other than being kind of dopey in a way. And Sunset Shimmers herself, well, with the other villains actually being interesting to watch, actually lovable to hate, you can't really love to hate this person. You just want her dead. Like, she is just a first-class bitch in this movie. So the whole entire part of the alternate universe phase of the high school that we get to see here. And that's also another cliche with high school drama, that there's always this plastic, there's this busty-ass bitch who's all big-headed with no heart. And then there's Flash Sentry, who is the typical boy toy stud that, well, that Twilight Sparkle has a love interest for. And you know why? No fucking idea. They run into each other just fucking once, and that fucking gets them together. It's like fucking putting a chair, stacking a chair over another chair and calling that fucking chemistry. God. Or throwing a pile of wood in the water and calling that chemistry. Hell, me playing with my goddamn controller and calling that chemistry. Shit. That's all that goes on. We're supposed to believe that they're perfect for each other just because they ran into each other once, exchanged looks, and then went their own ways. Not to mention, he just so happens to be the ex-boyfriend of Sunset Shimmers. Oh, surprise, surprise! And yet another fucking cliche for high school drama, with the outcast being in love with the ex-boyfriend of the typical princess, the fucking ice queen. The ice queen of the high school, who apparently runs everything. So, yeah. They're both very flat and vapid characters. And there is just no reason for Twilight Sparkle to even need a relationship. She has the internal conflict of now being a princess and being hold this great responsibility that she believes she cannot hold. That she doesn't believe that she has the capacity, the potential, and that is pretty good. That's a good message to go about. And that supposedly needing a spouse will have all her problems solved, and that is just leading towards a horrible Disney princess sort of plot line where the princess is nothing more than a damsel in distress, so afraid, can't do nothing, and that the male has to do everything for her because she can't do nothing. And that is just horrible because we've already seen Twilight Sparkle and her friends being built into these strong, really strong female leads that are filled with depth. Something that we can understand and actually relate with. Because I don't think that some girl is going to throw it to any guy that runs into her. Hey, how about this? I go fucking outside. First woman I see, I automatically fall in love. Oh, she's perfect for me. Oh, yes, yes, the woman of my dreams. That's pretty much what they did in the fucking movie. That's pretty much what they were trying to show. This unrealistic fantasy that perhaps the person you run into is the person who's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Granted, this is a spin-off, but I don't know. Season 4 of MLP might just have like episodes where they attempt to convince us that these two are perfect for each other because they share a glance with each other. Yeah, perfect chemistry. God, soon enough they're gonna make biology too. See how that fucking works. Anyway, the plot line. Well, the plot line isn't much to go for. It's pretty broken. It's pretty convoluted to begin with Sunset Shimmers knowing a whole lot about nothing to begin with. So, she tries to take the crown from Twilight Sparkle in the hopes that she can use it to her own benefit, although it's strange because it never, like, throughout the whole series, we are never told that the elements of harmony can be disused in that matter. And it's been proven that it cannot. With Nightmare Moon and Discord, they can never manipulate the elements of harmony to their own will. Nightmare Moon had to dismantle the group. She had to separate the main six, or stop them in their tracks from reaching towards that goal, as well as Discord. Discord had to separate them and hide the elements of harmony because he cannot alter them. But supposedly in this spin-off, they can now, because of this stupid little bitch that just came out of nowhere. We never see her any other time until that fucking movie. And supposedly Sunset Shimmers was a pony from a few generations back who was actually a good pony, so I don't know why they decided to make her bad. I mean, Sunset Shimmers doesn't sound like a really evil name. It will be pretty vilified, though, for days to come. And not to mention that supposedly Sunset Shimmers used to be trained by Princess Celestia, but went the path of evil, do not understand the magic of friendship. And despite that Sunset Shimmers and Twilight Sparkle are the exact same age, how the fuck does Twilight not even know about Sunset Shimmers to begin with? How the fuck does she not know? She must have been taught in practically the same school that Sunset Shimmers went to with Princess Celestia. They would have been taught at the same fucking time, and that Twilight would at least have some idea who Sunset Shimmers is or was. Yeah, many plot holes. Right at the beginning too. There's even a small one where they come back on the train to the Crystal Empire. I don't really know the Crystal Empire yet. I haven't gone through all of Season 3 yet. But anyhow, so they go there, they get like a fucking 15-minute speech, and they're all told to go back home. Just as soon as they got off the fucking train, they had gone all the way here to the Crystal Empire, and for 15 seconds, for a 15-second speech about what they need to do next. And that's it. That is it. Ugh. Oh, and there is also this other internal conflict with Twilight not getting used to her wings. I think that's kind of a joke, not really kind of a joke with her, you know, being an Alicorn now. And that supposedly being a human makes her feel relieved that wings are would be a lot easier to handle than trying to be a human. So, in the alternate universe, oh, there is a plot holes galore. I had read a review from this one guy. I think he's German, which is because he says Werk. His name's got a Berk. Doesn't Berk. So anyway, he seemed to be a little too meticulous with the details. He had complained that the soccer goals were not rectangular, which I didn't really care about. That wasn't something I had a problem with. Nor with the CMC being friends, despite that they were only friends because they didn't know their talents yet. That they were trying to find their talents, and that they all had all the same goals in common, so they could work together to try to find them for themselves. Despite that, I'm kind of tired of having to... Shit, I turned the Xbox on. I turned the Xbox on. Oh well. Anyway, so the... Oh, okay. So, I kind of lost my train of thought. Anyway, continuing on with the whole cliques thing. Yep, there are cliques, because, you know, a high school wouldn't be a high school without cliques, so, another cliche. So they're all separated, and this actually, this actually does make sense within the bounds, because Sunset Shimmers is intentionally breaking the elements of harmony apart, despite that she also forgot that she can't manipulate the elements of harmony, even though at the very end she does anyway. Yep, she does. Apparently now they can be manipulated. Don't know why Discord or Nightmare Moon never bothered to do that too. That seemed pretty weird to me. So anyway, yeah. Anyway, the whole, with Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Rarity, and Applejack being all arguing and separated of having these differences because Sunset Shimmer had intended to separate them apart because she knows, at least I think she does know, that when they are together, they cannot be defeated. They cannot be defeated. Still, though, that seems to be a convoluted... It seems convoluted from what Sunset Shimmer does know about the elements of harmony, because assuming that she knows that breaking them up apart breaks the elements of harmony, she also must have been there for when Twilight Sparkle, when the elements of harmony had come back. Despite that, we have seen that Sunset Shimmer seems to have made her reputation in the high school throughout a number of... Okay, so for some reason my recorder had turned off randomly. I think this happened when I had recorded the realization, although I'm way past that part now. So what I had finally come down to my conclusion was that I had realized that despite how bad this movie is that many bronies seem content on defending it. That whoever is trying to argue about it are either being trolls or that they never gave it a chance, despite that I gave it a chance, I didn't like it, and that they should understand that I should be able to hold to my opinion. More and more it seems that whoever hates on something is looking for attention, and looking for attention equals trolling. And that is a growing problem, is that people can't be held to their opinions. And that was really concerning to me. Not to mention that despite MLP being great, it isn't without its own flaws. That somehow we've come to suddenly believe that now Hasbro cannot do no wrong, and that even with a spin-off movie as bad as that, we can't admit that it's wrong. That it's fine if it's bad, it's fine if it's bad, we don't expect much more out of it. That we're fine with Hasbro doing it anyway, totally missing the point of their audiences, making realistic people and realistic situations unrealistic and phantasmal with the whole boy toy stud and the cadence, the sunset shimmers thing. And that I personally had experience when somebody had told me they loved the movie after I made a journal review of how I didn't like it. And I was like, okay, fine. You like the movie, but I didn't, alright? I understand if you love the movie for some reason, but they should understand that I don't. That I'm not writing that review to expect people to hate on it. Either to inspire others to believe in my opinion, or to acknowledge the faults of the movie to begin with. That I'm not here to say that the movie sucks because I never saw it and that I'm just here as a detention getter. And yet people on the internet still feel content to go with that first judgment, that I'm a troll, that I'm trolling them, that I cannot be held to my own fucking opinion, that I don't have an opinion to begin with, and that anything I hate on, anything that I can hate on, will hate on, because I'm trying to get attention from them. That they're letting them feed my fire, which is not true. But more so often, it seems the bronies seem really seem not very loving and tolerating of those who don't like the movie, which is unfair. Because if they had seen it, they didn't like it, then that means they do care. Like as if I wanted to watch it so that perhaps my doubts would be washed away, that this movie actually wasn't that bad, that it actually had a coherent plot, and that it didn't fall for all those high school cliches and drama that nobody wants to see anymore, especially to audiences that are expected to watch it because it's My Little Pony to begin with. And it just, after watching it, I am just merely concerned what Hasbro can dish out next. because for me, there has been a growing concern with how far My Little Pony can go before people start to realize that it seems to be getting worse and worse with its age. I mean, TV shows don't really age like fine wine. At least not all of them. South Park seems to, but it seems that now they're kind of falling on the last legs. I mean, what else could they talk about? Bouncy balls? Remote TVs? Laptops? But it just, I'm morally concerned. I love this community. It's great. It has grown a great amount of inspiration from people, from talented artists who have made great music, great fan art, great collaborations, and for those who really do just hate on it to hate on it, MLP is like any other kind of cartoon show. It's something, a niche that everyone will love. There's a whole site for Sonic fans too. Probably not nearly as big as My Little Pony, mind you, but it's still there. There's still an existential part of the fan base. It's not like everyone is talking about My Little Pony. You can only have that happen if you want it to. And the haters are merely saying that, when they say that, they are allowing themselves to see it. It's like with PewDiePie. People love to complain about PewDiePie, yet they've never seen it. I've never seen his videos, so I have nothing to complain about. I never get recommendations to see any of his videos. So obviously, if I don't talk about it, I don't complain about it, and most importantly, don't try to find it, it doesn't exist. It will only exist if you allow it to. But anyway, with the brony specifically, the borders between love and tolerance are being blurred. They are being illusioned between the acceptance of all, despite who hate it and who like it, to those who morally just accept all, who don't morally accept all these things, despite how bad they are. I am still a brony. I'm still concerned with how the show will go further down the line. Show any other spin-off movies they might have, any documentaries they might make, whatnot. It's just, there is a future that perhaps season 4 might get worse. It just might get worse. I am just concerned. And that is so.